Alright, what's up everybody? So today we are going to be doing some SwiftUI development. So I'm going to be building this application from scratch. I've got a couple of little bare bones in place right now for an idea for an application that I have. So let's see how this works out for us. Feel free to ask questions and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm going to take this slowly because I've never built a Catalyst application before and this is a good excuse to try it out. So Alright, so the idea here is I've got two sections to this application. The first section up here is going to be sort of the navigation area. I've got some stuff that I want to put in there. I'm not going to use sort of normal navigation though. I've got some ideas I want to put in place for this one. And then down here is going to be where the content is. And the idea is it's going to be a collection of sort of a card view of some cards with some stuff on there. And then you'll click on one of those and go to another view. So it'll make more sense as we start to build it out. And I think the next thing I need to do is make one of these, sort of simulate one of these cards here with just a very quick sort of SwiftUI view put together, just as almost as a placeholder component so that I can work out the tiling techniques. So I think that's So I'm just going to make a new SwiftUI view here. And I'm going to call this card hashtag set. I think that'll be self-explanatory enough as I work through it. So it should give me the standard view. Hit resume. And there we go, and we got the hello world, which we won't be needing very long. But I think what I need to do is just put in use some text here. It's just the placeholders for the different sections of the card. So we're going to have the card title. So let's just put these strings in for now as we place these through. Just going to copy and paste this. And then there's going to be a description of the tag set. And then I'm going to use probably an image for the background eventually. And let's put these in let's just do a vertical stack. That's actually going to be what I need here because I want the description, I want the text title to go at the top, and then I want the description to go underneath. And that should not be. There we go. Just fix the formatting up a bit. Alright, so that's our two items. Obviously the card's not going to end up being this big, but I haven't decided yet how big I want the cards to be. I got some designs, but for now I'm just going to leave it flowing in this design and maybe restrict that in the parent. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it plays out. If you're interested, by the way, in any of this Swift development or SwiftUI or any kind of Apple development, you can go over to my website, compileswift.com, and you'll find a whole ton of content there. And there's also a lot of videos, and I also have some premium content as well on Patreon, and you'll find a link to subscribe to that on compileswift.com, or you can just go to patreon.com/PWCOM. Sorry. PWCOM, and then sign up there as a subscriber and you'll get a lot of exclusive videos. Currently at the moment I'm building a SwiftUI application from scratch. It's a rebuild of an old UI application. So, you know, that's something in there right now. I think it's just over, I want to say just over 2 hours of content on video for subscribers. Of course, that's growing all the time. Anyway, let's get on with this. So I think now what I need to do is I need to look at this and say, you know what, this stack, I need this stack to go to the top. But actually, I'm curious. If I put a space in there, does it push one up and one down? It does. Okay, so that's good. Now for the stack, I want it to have padding though, so I'm just going to add the standard app padding. So there you go. That's always nice. I love these modifiers, by the way, on SwiftUI. It's so nice to have these modifiers in there where we can just do these things quickly. I'm really hoping that this year we'll see SwiftUI 2, and that's going to really open this up for us. Alright, sorry, just had to take a quick drink now. Okay, so we've got the title, we've got the description, they're in the middle. And I actually do think I'm going to left align these because I think on the final card I really want them to just go over there. So I want the contents to be left aligned. Great. And then I need to left align the stack as well, and we'll get to that in a second. But let's turn our attention here. So the text I actually don't want it to look like this. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to look for, I think it's called the font. This is a list of all the modifiers. Yep, font, there you go. And for the font, I'm going to use title. Yep, that is what I want. And then for the description at the bottom, again, put another modifier on here. I'm going to go down, I'm going to find font. But I don't want title for this one, obviously. So for this one, I'm just going to call it, I don't think I necessarily want body either, because I don't think that that's going to stand out in the final design. So for now, I'm going to go with sub description. Yeah, it's kind of too small, actually. I like to try and stick with these system ones because it makes the accessibility easier. Body's probably about the same size, right? It's a little bit bigger. It's not big enough, though. So I think, which one's bigger? I can never remember. We'll go for headline. That's okay. And then we've got the card title. That's fine for now. I'm not going to put the picture in here because I think the picture is going to be something that I'm going to give the user the ability to pick a picture from their, from their camera roll probably to go in and get stored as the background for the card. So for now, what I'm going to do is I think so I can see the cards laying out on the main view. I may just put a background color on here so I can actually see the card quite clearly, the dimensions of the card. So let's try this background blue. Don't want anything too horrible. It's got to be pretty reasonable working on this. So I'm just going to go with gray. That'll do nicely. Okay. Well, trust me, it's not nice. That is not the final color. That's just so I can see how much of the placement is taken up as I work through the grid view. So don't think for any minute that that's a good design, because it really isn't. Alright, let's see. Let's move on here. So we've got this V stack right now. And I don't really want it aligned in the center there, so I've got to think about this. Is it the frame I adjust, or is it the alignment? I don't do a lot of SwiftUI work so far. All the apps that I work on professionally use the conventional, UI kit. So it's kind of a little bit of an exploration sometimes when I come back and get to play with SwiftUI until it becomes mainstream. And I think the frame, if I remember rightly, there is a way you can set this to 100% and 100%. I gotta think about that. I may have to look that up here quickly. Because it's expecting numbers here, you can't just go in and say like if you go in and put 100%, it's gonna foul because it doesn't know what that is, right? And I think I remember rightly, if we just go in, it certainly won't take a string of 100%, but let's be sure. Yep. Okay, so we're just going to go with 100 on there. We'll have to dig that code out in a second. Remember how to do that. If you ever, you don't have to add these modifiers on from the list over here, by the way. You can just go in and go, if I just start typing .frame, it's going to give me all of the options. Right, so I can go in there and find the different options available to me. Width, height, and alignment is going to work for me. And actually, now that I think about it, I think if I do width.infinity, or maybe that's the minimum width. I know I've used .infinity before, so let's try that. Minimum width. But I don't think I got it quite right there because it's not going to do what I expect. I've got something wrong. Let me double check this. Let's just put that back to 100. Put this to 100. I'm not going to use those. And the alignment, I just do. No, okay. Is this going to help me out? Nope. Oops. Alignment dot left maybe, or leading. Whoops, don't need that dot there. May have crashed. There's something here it doesn't like. What have I done? Let's take this. Oh. Need a background. Oh. I'm curious, let's play around with this a little. Let's see what this. Nope. IntelliSense not going to help me out. If I set it to 0, 0. Oh. Alright. Let's just remove that completely. Let's clean up my code here a little bit. And I'm wondering, if I go in, can I set the alignment? Interesting. Okay, I don't want to do that. I've done this before. Change the minimum height. I thought it was called minimum height. Hang on. Let's have the IntelliSense help me out here. Min width, max height. Okay. We want infinity for the minimum width. We want it to go through and fill in the whole thing. The ideal width, actually I don't even need to set that, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. The maximum width is also going to be infinity. So let's get rid of that. Same again. Just going to strip this one off. No point in having properties on there if you're not going to set them. And then for now, let's just remove the alignment. Let's take the padding off of there as well. Bring up the debug. Alright, what doesn't it like here? Just going to copy that to the clipboard. Did I remove something here, or did I screw up my syntax, I wonder? Oh. I think I'm missing. I think I did something stupid. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe not. Oh. Well, no, I do need to set out. What is it not like? I'm sure it's really obvious to anybody watching. If you know what the hell it is, feel free to drop in the chat room and tell me, because I know it's got to be something stupid. Infinity for the width. Alright, let's just leave them all in, although I really feel like I've done it before where I just don't put in the ones that I don't need. Infinity, by the way, just should tell it, hey, just fill the available space. Doesn't make any sense. Let's just make sure I've done dot infinity before. Just work through these, set them all to a number for now. Just to make sure this isn't the problem. It's kind of the dumb way to debug it, I guess. Okay, now it's happy. Is that really it? Okay. Width, dot infinity, minimum width. Can you not use that on the overall? Alright, well, for now, let's just do 400 by 300. Oh, sorry, 400. Getting ahead of myself here, 400. And we're going to make the height 300. And I'm just curious, if I take that out of the stack, can I crash this horribly if I put it on the frame, on the actual view? Yeah, it's not going to like it. Okay. And just so we can see again, let's put a background color just so we can see the actual area it's taking up. Sorry, didn't mean to do that there. Got the stack, let's do it this way. Background. And we're going to go with a horrible blue because it stands out real easy for us to see. This is why we debug it. Okay. Let's go back up to our card view. So again, our card view over here, our content view, is going to have this top section plus these cards in a grid at the bottom. So the one at the bottom are these view sets here. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having this text now, I can actually now put in an instance of a card. Great. Let's just go back up over here. Should display in there. Yep, obviously clearly you can see it's going to be way too big right now. But like I say, the idea, what I got to get working here is this kind of grid layout that's going to adapt to portrait, landscape, and all the different devices. Right now we're previewing it on the Mac, but you know, if I go in and set it up for an iPhone as well, then I got to make sure that works out nicely. I think it's because I got multiple returns here and not in a stack, right? Yeah. So if I do it in a vertical stack, you know, everything is, forget that there's a gap there right now, but it's going to be 2, right? Let's just put a bunch of instances in here because I want to show you what the problem's going to be. So we've got 4, and they're going off down the screen, but they're not really in a grid pattern. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if we have a grid available to us in UI. I don't think we have collections. So let's have a look. Yeah, groups is not really what I want. Yeah, I don't think a collection is what I want. And I don't want to define these numbers either because, you know, if I say like go across and make 2 columns, it's going to work fine on an iPad, on the Mac. It is not going to work fine, obviously, on a phone where you're going to want kind of in a portrait view to scroll through the essentially just one per row, right? So we're going to have to figure this out here. And I think if I just put padding on there, that's probably going to be too much. I just want to get some separation in there for now. So let's just do that. Let's see what modifiers are available. Maybe there's something in here that's going to be able to help us. Suddenly you really appreciate collection views, don't you? Yeah, list styles, nice, not going to help. Let's see. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break here to go get a drink. I will. Alright, I'm back. So, thanks to the ever so awesome Hacking with Swift, Paul Hudson, shout out to you, buddy. We have something here that we might be able to take advantage of. And he's even updated for Xcode 11.5, which is fantastic because it only came out this week. The final version, I believe. So let's have a look and see what we got here. Alright, thank you, Mr. Hudson. This is awesome. Let's give this a go. So We're just going to take this struct here and take it straight in and give it a shot. Let's just put it down the bottom here for now. That's while we're working through this. And then we'll take his implementation here. Full shout out to him for this. hackingwithswift.com if this solution works, because this would be awesome. Alright, so let's just put it here, because I'm going to get rid of that VStack here in a second, I believe. I'm going to take this one, just going to take one of those, just clean all of this out, put it in here. Oh my god, look at that. Mr. Hudson, you are a genius, sir. hackingwithswift.com always rocks. I got a bunch of his books. I thoroughly recommend them. And yet again, he's come through with this awesome code. We've got 4 rows, 4 columns, and you can see that it's actually it's actually way outside of what I need here. So what I'm going to do here, let's go over to our card set, right? This is quite a big card. So we're actually going to bring the width down. So let's say we're going to make it 300. And I'm still convinced that I should be able to take some of these out. Yeah, see, I don't need that one. Maximum width of 300. Minimum height of 200. Ideal height, don't really believe I need that one, because I'm going to set the max width to 200. The alignment, we'll leave it for top now, and we'll leave the color blue just so we can just check this. Let's save it. Let's go back to, well, if we go to our content view, you can now see, look, we got this grid of cards coming in here, right? It's this view sets, because, you know, I'm just putting in here the view sets, right? The view sets actually probably got way too much padding going on here now, because we've got padding on padding, but we'll leave this alone for now. And you can see what I did here, right? I've got the infinity for the height and the width for these 2 sections, so that they go in and they sort of essentially stretch out to make, you know, fill the screen area, whatever that screen area may be. So in theory, it should work on multiple devices. And I want to show you this here. This is something that I was playing with the other day. I've got this group, right? So I've set over here, this is the preview area, and the preview display I've set to Mac. So I've actually got some that I've put in. So if I remove the comment for this, I can actually see how it's going to present itself on an iPhone 11. As you can see, I've got in there. So it's going to take a second to render it out. We'll just hit resume as well. And then, so it's got to spin up the iPhone view here. Alright, so you can see that you're not restricted to just having one device preview, right? So we've got some issues here we'll have to deal with that implementation on the iPhone here, but that's fine. We've still, that awesome code, you know, from hackingwithswift.com has got us a long way to the grid for the main app. Down here I've got a iPad Pro 11-inch. So you can see that we got that going here, right? But the 4x4 is clearly not going to work on essentially any of these. But in theory, on the Mac it might, right? Because I'm toying with the idea of, you know, should the Mac application have a resizable window? And, you know, ultimately I think, yeah, it does. So there's probably going to be some implementation code here for the views that says on the Mac, get as many as you can. You know, on the iPhone, maybe just have the one that you scroll up and down. And maybe on the iPad, you know, limit the selection here. But I'd rather come up with some code that says, figure out how many you can get in that space and do it. And then I only have to write code, implement it once, and it's going to work for any device. That would be my preferred method. And, you know, the other developers that I work with, I would normally say to them, hey, that's what we need to do. So, you know, I kind of got to practice what I preach here, right? So anyway, let's get back to this. So we're going to leave these up for now. just to see how this goes as we move along, right? So let's go back up here. So let's look at our view sets. And on the view sets, because I only have this one preview right here, you know, that's why we're only seeing, right, we're sort of seeing the Mac preview here by default. That's fine. That'll work for us for now. So let's go back and let's say, well, you know, if I have two columns, right, two columns is, you know, now it's awkward on sort of the Mac window of any size here. I think 3 columns on an iPad would be an acceptable amount, because you know you don't want these panels to be too small, and you know on an iPad, well, this is the 11-inch iPad Pro, so you know again you got to think maybe iPad Mini, which all comes back to my thing of not putting in a defined number. So you know on this here we could certainly go back and say, all right, you know we got to do some calculations here and have a computed value in here rather than an actual value. That is certainly what we should do in the long run, right? That is the way that should go. Okay. Now also notice, you know, let me just check this here. So on the view sets, as it goes in, I want to find it here. Find the grid stack. Okay. Let's make it, I just want to see what happens. Yeah, so it's going from the center and it's stretching up and down. And what we really need it to do is either stretch, you know, to stretch across and down, but we don't want its position to be centered like this, right? The position really needs to be up in this corner here and go across and down, right? So that's going to be something else we need to look at here. And that's really something that we should put up in this corner. So we're going to have to play around with this a little bit. So, since my memory is terrible today, it's been a long day. I need to go back and I need to find Safari. I'm going to leave that open. Maybe put it in the show notes too. And how do I position a SwiftUI component in the top left of a display? Right, because again, it's, you know, the top left numbers should never change, right? Oh, it's funny how Hacking with Swift always comes up on the top searches, and that's because his stuff is awesome. But this is the offset, and I don't think that's what I want. Yeah, that is not what I'm looking for. Of course, second one, also Hacking with Swift. I think he's just nailed this search engine stuff, don't you? So he goes in, he just sets the position. Alright, let's try it. So if I take my grid stack and I set the position, and let's say, well actually for this one, because I don't want padding on padding, so it would be 0, 0. But actually I'm wondering what's going on here. Maybe the ooh, that's the wrong number. So we've got the standard padding on each of these. But because we've set an absolute position, it's technically it's out of the frame, right? This is the status bar area of up here of the device. So I don't think this is what I want to be doing, but I'm gonna keep going in here and see. See, it sort of fixes the problem here for us in a way. Because if I go down, you'll see that that's actually there. The view navigation's actually got quite a large area at the top there. Probably should be something more like 80 or 90. Yeah, 90 is a bit better. Still a bit much, taking up a bit too much of the application space. Alright, well I think what we'll do is they're bound to have to tweak some of this stuff along the way, so I'm going to keep going with this. And I'm also going to move it in, the position in from the left, because we're clearly cropping some stuff off here. Yeah. I think we'll go with that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's working a bit better. Okay. Let's go back to our card here for a second. I don't like the way that the text is up against the edge there. But that's going to be too much. So I think what I'm going to do is I just really want the padding on the top. So, you know, let's just do it this way. I go in, I take my text here, I'm going to apply some top padding. Yep, that's fine. Then we're going to take the text at the bottom. We'll add the bottom padding. Now this text could actually end up being 2 lines of text. So what I'm going to do is just put some more text in here to make it stretch out. So card description with a very long line of text to see what happens. Okay, so this is good. This sort of forces the layout to essentially break a little here. Now also what I need to do here is go in and set line limiter 2. It's got the padding at the bottom, but I don't like the way that it's, you know, it's right up against these 2 edges. So we're going to put some padding on the sides as well, just to make it more presentable. Great. And then on the card, we'll put some padding on the side as well, so that lines up like so. And I'm not going to mess with the colors too much right now, because like I say, these are just placeholders, and I do want to support light and dark mode, so we're going to deal with that separately. But let's go back to our content view here. And things are starting to look a little better. That's not too bad at all, actually, for a first attempt. Obviously, like I said, we've got a long path to go down, but I'm pleased that we've made this much progress this quickly. This is good. Interestingly, notice that the phone version here, everything is centered, right? And I'm wondering, yeah, if something here is not updated. See, it updated down here, but the phone one didn't. That's kind of funny. Or maybe it's just a bug in Xcode, but Xcode doesn't normally have bugs, right? Let's just take that one out. And now let's bring it back. Ah, yeah, no, there's definitely something going on. All right, what we're going to do is we'll turn off the phone view for now. Focus on these two. Okay, they look identical, funny enough, and maybe that's because it's a Catalyst app. Maybe that's the point, all right? But this is a Mac app up here, as you can see, and this one down here is going to be an iPad Pro app. And just to test the theory, I'm going to run this now on my Mac here, and we'll see. Please compile with no issues and run the app. Let's just hide that out the way. Wait to see the app come up. You can see it's trying. Something's trying to spin up and it crashed. So what happened? Huh. Interesting. Thanks Xcode 11.5. What's that all about? Surely it can't mean this one here, right? It's not registering that as an instance. Yeah, maybe it is. Well, that wouldn't be right at all. Hang on a minute, let's explore that. So you can see, anyway, here's the Mac app. I haven't done anything to this. You can still resize it, but it's going to go to a minimum here, sort of the minimum defaults that are in. But if you stretch it out, right, the idea being that those cards are now supposed to stretch across and rebuild themselves. We'll get to that eventually. But now I'm curious, if I run this again, is it seeing this instance here as an instance already running? Because that would make no sense at all. What would be the point in this? Wow, I really think it is. Didn't see that one coming. So now it's funny because the app crashed, right? If we go back here, it's gonna stop the preview here. Now because this preview is stopped, if I try and run it, no, it still doesn't like it, see? And yet it was okay with it a minute ago. Is Xcode having a funny moment? Let's come off the view, go back on the view. I'm not gonna resume it here. I'm just gonna leave it like this, run it. App runs, right? Stop the app. Go back over here. Let's try this. Run it again. Everything's fine, but yeah, no, everything's fine. So, okay, so hang on. Well, now stop the app. Go back over here. Resume the preview, which is, by the way, like I say, a Mac preview and an iPad preview. Run the app. And now it crashes because it thinks there's already an instance running because there's one running under the live preview canvas. I may have to file a bug report on that and see. That does not seem like it's the intended behavior at all, is it? I wonder if let's go in here, let's do this. So I'm going to turn off this Mac view. So the only view now is this iPhone 1, right? Sorry, iPad. Now try running the Mac. Nope. Well, that's an interesting little weird scenario. Didn't see that one coming. This is Xcode 11.5 that came out the other day. Okay, it's not running there. Come off there, go back on. Let's just close out that view, come back. It's going to be empty because it needs me to resume it. I'm not going to do that. But I will uncomment that now. When I uncomment that, okay. Wow, way to mess up that space in there. Okay, save it. Run it again, no view, but it doesn't crash. Yep, doesn't crash. All right, well, that's weird and interesting at the same time. But anyway, you can see here that we've got the app running. All right, we've got our cards in here, and we're going to put this navigation stuff at the top. In case you didn't know, you get all this by free for default. By default, you get this menu at the top here. Okay, great. Wow, I'm really just bugged out by that bug. That's funny. I wonder if that happens to everyone or just me. Probably just me. I'll have to ask in a Slack group that I belong to and see what anyone says. They're all an awful lot smarter than me. Okay, so we're at 55 minutes. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one here for now, and we're going to pick this up next time and continue with this and continue to build this out, because I want you to see the progression of it over time. And I'll probably try and post this video up as well on compileswift.com. Like I say, plenty more stuff like this on compileswift.com. A lot of videos, a lot of tutorials, a lot of news and all that kind of stuff. You can also reach out to me there as well. You can go to compileswift.com/contact, or on Twitter, go to @compileswift, just like it says at the bottom here. And with that, we'll leave it there. Like I said, we'll pick this up next time. If you're interested in SwiftUI, definitely consider, my membership only course on Patreon, patreon.com/PWCOM, and get exclusive content that nobody else gets to see. So that's it. I will pick this up in the next stream. Thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.